Hey fellow Earthlings, this is Earthling 6455463728, and I'm back with climate change. I started off with climate change and I'm back with it. So what am I saying today? Do I think that we're better off? Do I think that we're actually going to be able to overcome climate change? Definitely not. I think that is very, I always want a kid to hedge my bets but I don't see it. There is nothing on the horizon that is at the pace and magnitude that we need in order to avoid the worst predictions of climate change. There is just nothing, because there isn't. Yes, great. You look at the news and they have solar panels that are coming out. Solar farms that are coming out. Wind farms, they're building so many. The amount of wind farms and solar farms that they need to be massive. You don't need to read about them in the papers. If you're reading about them in the papers and you're not seeing what needs to be done, it's not enough. But anyway, aside from that, what are we really... Well, politicians aren't doing anything, okay? Greta Thunberg, I think she went to the UN and she has all these people standing behind her saying how great she is. But the fact of the matter is, in order to get over climate change, in order to beat it, we all really need to stop consuming as much as we do. Whatever you consume, especially if you're a big consumer, if you live in Africa, you don't have to do anything. You probably do not have to do anything. If you live in the US and maybe even South America, if you live in Europe, North America, not even China really has to do it. And maybe this is a video that I really need to make. A lot of the developed world has outsourced its production to China and to lots of other places. When we see, all these greenhouse gases, China is the biggest producer of greenhouse gases. Who are they producing it for? If China is the biggest contributor of greenhouse gases right now, they're producing stuff for the US. They're producing stuff for Europe. So for the US and Europe and lots of other places to point the finger at people who are making stuff for them and emitting CO2 on their behalf, it is, it's one of those things that, and I certainly have to do another video on this, that we are warped. Our understanding of how the world is so completely warped as to be, we have no idea what the real world looks like. We are honestly, completely and utterly in a matrix. We just have almost no idea of really what is important and what isn't. But anyway, I'm getting away from the point. At the end of the day, though, every single person probably, well, in the developed world and in a somewhat wealthy country, they need to cut their consumption down radically. They need to stop driving. They need to stop flying. They need to stop so many things. That new bathroom that you want to put on, that all those new clothes that you keep buying and then donating to charity, that all these things that we consume on a regular basis, these tools, these, going out to the restaurant, all of these things are contributing to climate change right now, and we don't see it. Even the money that we make is contributing to climate change. And the reason being is lots of us make money doing jobs that really are like churning wheels. Like, for example, I used to work for the government in an agricultural department of the government. And I would think to myself, hey, how is what I'm doing helping us to improve agriculture where I am? And I realized that I probably was not in any way, shape, or form. But my job existed, and I was getting paid, and I could go out and I was getting paid, and I could go out and spend and live up life. But here it was that all of that activity was not contributing to an improvement in life for the people where I live. At the end of the day, what are you willing to give up so that CO2 levels don't reach a catastrophic level and there's no way to avoid or to stop accelerating climate change? Because that's what everybody's afraid of. At some point, there's a tipping point at which there is nothing that we will be able to do. That's the point. It isn't that CO2 is such a huge it's a greenhouse gas. It isn't that it's such a huge greenhouse gas. It is that little bit, a lot of it, will raise the temperature to such a point that there is more water vapor in the atmosphere. And once you get to a certain point where there's enough water vapor in the atmosphere, you don't need to do anything. We could completely stop emitting CO2 altogether, and it won't cool down the planet at all. Things will just have gotten to that point. And yeah, I gather and I understand that for most people it's not happening now. Most people alive now are not going to see what happens. Most people right now are not going to be affected by runaway climate change. We're not. It's going to take a long time. And by then, none of the carbon capture, none of the, there's enough oil. We have enough oil to completely wreck this place. And, well, of course, it's not going to be wrecked. It's going to be wrecked for us. There was one interesting article that I saw recently where they were saying is that when CO2 concentrations reach a certain amount, it's going to start affecting us directly in terms of our ability to think clearly. That is one of the things that they're concerned about now. They're saying by the end of the century, the amount of CO2 that will be in the atmosphere will be affecting our brains to a degree that it will be significantly affected our capacity to think and to reason. So I don't know. For me personally, I don't really want too much from life anymore. And I suppose that's, it's all well and good for me to talk about this when compared to most people in the world, I've traveled a lot. Compared to the richest people in the world, I have not even begun to travel. But I realized that if I were to go ahead and take 20 trips, and this is the sick thing, I guess this is why we are not ever really going to beat this, because all of the rich people don't want to stop flying. They don't want to stop having fantastic lives. They don't want to stop having all these different clothes and all these different houses. And I'm at fault. If somebody dropped a large sum of money in my lap and I didn't have to take care of my uncle, I might, assessing how long I have to live, I might just say, okay, I can spend this amount every year and just go out and find a way to spend it. I don't know that I would. I mean, I have enough money to do a lot of different things, but I have the responsibility of my uncle. But I think each individual, like as a movement, what Greta Thunberg has to do is she can't talk to the leaders without any power. And she needs power from individuals. She needs an army of individuals all over the world who are willing to say, this is what I'm going to give up in order to save the planet. And this is how I'm going to vote in order to save the planet. It's all well and good to talk to a leader if the leader doesn't see that you have any power. If you have no power and there's nobody backing you with their vote, not with their mouth, with their vote and with their spending and with what they're willing to do or do without, that's going to be changed. That's going to be power. That's going to be something that people could look at and say, whoa, whoa. She has an army of people who are willing to do things. Maybe we should pay attention. And maybe she will realize that that's what she needs. Talking to the people at the top when the people at the bottom don't agree is not going to achieve anything. Politicians do what we want them to do. We, the majority, whoever that might be at a given time, if the majority feels that gay marriage is the thing to do, then they're going to go and pass that law. No politician is going to pass a law that the majority of people hate. They have to get re-elected. So Greta Thunberg has been talking to the wrong people from the get-go. She needs to talk to ordinary people, and she needs to change ordinary people's minds to say, no, you don't need a vacation halfway across the world every single year. No, you don't need to buy new clothes every week, go shopping every week. No, you don't need a diamond engagement ring. No, you don't need a huge house with 20 rooms that you're never going to use. No, you don't need a huge expensive car. Yeah, no, you don't need to eat out every single day. The fact of the matter is that, yeah, we are not going to save this planet. We are going to do what we want to do, which is nothing. We want to enjoy as many things as we possibly can and to spend and consume as much as we possibly can because we think that that makes us happy and that makes life better, which incidentally it doesn't. So it's kind of funny, isn't it? But yeah, we aren't going to save this planet, or we're not going to save it for ourselves anyway. Unless maybe some Superman comes around and decides to commit their lives to an organization to change people's minds. And, from a very cynical point of view, the last couple times that we tried that didn't really work. If you look at Martin Luther King, he didn't actually live to see any of the laws that he wanted passed, but he gave his life for that. I can't really think of anybody else who gave their life for a particular thing, but it's really hard to get other people to give their lives for things as well. Normally a lot of movements are focused on one person because you normally don't have a group of people who are willing to give their life for things. But anyway, that's it. So please like, unlike, comment, subscribe, and or share. Wish me lucks. Thanks. Peace.